Hi guys, this is Sujit again, and welcome to my another dev vlog. Devlog. Yeah, it's devlog. And today we're gonna talk about scope creep, one of the scariest, creepiest, and dangerous things out there in game development that people often talk about. I want to talk about it today because our game is kinda suffering or developing because of it, and let's dive into it. Before I begin, I just want to thank all my Twitter friends who's been very supportive of me, and all my friends and family, my girlfriend especially, who's been highly supportive of me making the video and also talking about the game. This is our game, basically the game that I and my girlfriend's been developing. And the last video was about my fear of showing the game, and after showing that, I'm not completely immune of showing my game, but at this point I'm happy that it's there. And I've developed this kind of sense of ability to be proud of it. And thank you guys. So without further ado, I would love to jump into the whole thing where we talk about the scope creep. Before that, let me explain you what scope creep is. Right, scope creep is something, let's say there's a platformer game and there's a character jumping from one platform to another. Let's say the distance between the platform 1 and 2 is too large that the character's default jump, he can't make it, right? In that sense, what would any game developer would do? Probably you would want to bring the platform to the level so they can jump from one point to another. But what if you have lot of these places in the game and you've made a lot of platforms, maybe thousands and 2000s of platforms, and you want to be like, oh my god, I can't, now it's a whole lot of mess. I create an algorithm for for the platforms to be equally different from each other. And or you come up with a thing called jetpack that could help you jump at any heights because you already have a jetpack now. These Either of these things have their own problems. For example, now you have put yourself into writing an entire new algorithm you don't know how to write, and then when you happen to write it, then the whole let's say there is a health pack on every platform is now adjusted off because they try to level themselves nearer for the jump, and you've completely fucked up every other thing that sits on the platform. Or if you add a jetpack, then the jetpack is infinite, and the player loading is not, I mean, the enemy loading is not fast enough. You just jump into there and the enemy loads after you have. Do you see what this is exactly is called a scope creep, where you started creating something, and after to solve one solution, and then it blossoms into 500 different problems because you've changed the way the game was initially planned. I'm a full-time game dev. I don't make games part-time. With the dosa game. Dosa game is something that I and my partner been making for a while on our own. But as full-time, I work more like a software engineer of sorts, but for a bigger company, making a hybrid casual game that handles live services and everything. And since our project scope is so huge, there you would probably need a thesaurus level of GDD to put all the game functionalities together, and that something is humanly impossible with the amount of people we have working at the company. But while making these games, while making the game that we were making, the hybrid casual game with all the live services element, if you ask me what live services are, you might have to Google it. Maybe I'll make another video if you guys want it. But yeah, this is like, let's say for now it's a hugely scoped game with like different flows hanging on a small thread of code, and if one fails, everything will fall like a domino effect. And here, even if we change one tiny thing, millions of things will fall everywhere, and you might have to think of all the possibilities and permutations and combinations, right? So I'm somebody who is experienced in this and who is highly skeptical of new scope. Yet our dosa game is kinda getting the good side of scope creep. Let me tell you how it is actually getting that. Before I talk about that, I want to tell you where the inspiration of dosa game came from. You guys know, if you haven't watched the previous video, please watch it. But if you have, you already know that we are big foodies and we wanted to make a game based on what inspires us every single day, which are foods, and we wanted to make a game that's highly based on foods, right? But there's another element to it. We both are gamers as well, and my partner specifically used to play games like Papa's Pizzeria and games like Madras Daba. It's like a beautiful, awesome, time-based cooking game. You should definitely play. It's free. It's on the web. It's a web game. I can post a link on the description if you guys want. And I personally, during the time, my partner and I used to play games like Papers, Please, which is like something that really swept us. Like it really changed the way we thought about games, because it's like the whole game is in one screen. It's entirely non-diegetic is something like you don't have specific buttons that telling you what to do. Instead, the whole UIs and buttons are in terms of actual game features. Like there will be a book, you can throw it across, and if you click it, it opens up and you can see the instructions in the manual. All these things are like smaller things, but we liked how everything is one. I personally liked how every single functionality of this game in one single page. You don't have to move across different menus to find it. Everything is just there. And also, I've been playing a game called Dredge. It's a horror game, but also cozy fishing game, where there was this little inventory system they had, which is like a huge grid-like mechanic, where you can take different items from the sea, and you might have to find a way to put them in the proper manner. I'm sorry I'm putting in a lot of stuff, but I wanted to make this as a short video also, so let's go with that. And then, so these inspirations are from these different games, and our game, Dosa game, is at a point where this was our initial vision, by the way. We have this culture thingy, we have all the games that we were inspired by, and we have to make a game that we love, and we made that game right now. Our vision, whatever we thought, we are there. But fortunately, while making this, right, while working for our vision, while making this particular game, we came across multiple things that we thought would be good for them. These things might look like what I've said before, the scope creep, right? Like we started with one idea, now we have multiple other ideas copulating inside the very specific game that we wanted to build. My particular fear was, is this game getting too big of a deal for me to complete? Because the biggest telltale of any scope creep is it actually makes you extend the deadline. The deadline for this game was around a year. I started this game last November, so it's at least like November is like few more months away, right? I'll probably hit the month, and the game, the way that we see, the vision is already done. We are far ahead of schedule. But like I said, these scope creeps that we've gotten for this game is something that we actually believe in, not something that is something that we are scared of. We are scared of the deadline, we are scared of the time it's gonna take, because I'm a solo dev, and I'm working with my partner, but I'm the one who's programming the entire thing, and I have a lot of things to program that is still there. But looking at all of these things, we are specifically proud of the new things that has conspired for us, and we believe that these new things are gonna be their own things in their own way, making the game its unique mix of its own thing, not something like Dredge or Papers, Please or Papa's Pizzeria or even the Madras Daba game, nothing like that. This game is gonna be its own thing, and I believe sometimes scope creeps like this actually make sense, and this is one of those places where I really feel like they make sense. I hope I have convinced you guys that I'm not supporting scope creeps at all, but also be very aware of it, because there was a time where we actually wanted to make a longer dialogue system like Witcher, and then we said nope. We don't have the ability to localize all of it, and then we don't have the ability, we are not writers basically, and we are very bad at writing, and then we are not we are not worse, but we are not really as good as the writers in the industry. So like we don't want to aim for that, right? We know our strengths, and we thought we could cut those things off. So we are particularly sure of what we want. Yes, it increased the deadline, which is like the telltale sign of any scope creep. Yes, these are new things that we have not planned, but this is gonna make the game its own thing. Hopefully I'm making any sense. I'm hopefully I'm making some sense in this. Because why am I saying this? Because I might watch this video, come back in time and say, why the fuck did I do this, right? And this is the reason I did it, just for myself also. This video is also made for myself also, just so I could come back and then see this video and then go like, yo, yeah, that's why I made it. So yep, so that's about it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you took something from this video, one thing or another. I hope I made some sense. This is new for me too. I'm just kind of learning. I would love your inputs if you guys have something for me. If not, also it's cool. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you guys on the next one. Catch you guys on the next one, by the way. Bye.